Every time you open Instagram, book an Uber, make a UPI payment, or watch YouTube, APIs are working silently in the background. Your app is constantly communicating with servers somewhere across the internet, sending requests and receiving responses within milliseconds. That communication happens using APIs. API stands for Application Programming Interface. But instead of memorizing the definition, understand it like this. APIs are messengers that allow two software systems to talk to each other. Imagine you are ordering food in a restaurant. You don't go into the kitchen and cook the food yourself. You tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your request to the kitchen. The kitchen prepares the food, and the waiter brings the response back to you. In the same way, your mobile app or browser sends a request through an API to a server, and the server sends data back through the API. Your mobile app is called the client. The system that stores data and processes requests is called the server. APIs are the communication bridge between them. Suppose you open a weather app and search for Mumbai weather. Initially, the app itself does not know the weather information. The front-end application creates an API request, asking a remote server for weather data. That request usually looks something like this. Get/weather city equals Mumbai http/1.1. Host, api.weather.com. This request is sent using HTTP or HTTPS. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which defines how communication happens over the web. HTTPS is simply secure HTTP, where data is encrypted. The request contains multiple parts. First comes the URL, which tells where the request should go. Then comes the method, which defines what action we want to perform. The most common HTTP methods are GET for fetching data, POST for creating data, PUT for replacing data, PATCH for updating part of the data, and DELETE for removing data. If an application wants user details, it may send get/users. If it wants to create a new user, it sends a POST request to /users, along with data like this. APIs also contain headers. Headers carry metadata about the request, for example, authorization tokens or content-type. Most APIs today use JSON format for sending and receiving data because it is lightweight and easy to read. Here is an example JSON response. It shows a username and a follower count in a simple key-value structure. Now let's go deeper and see what happens after you press the button in an app. The first thing your device does is DNS resolution. DNS servers convert the domain name into an IP address that computers understand. After getting the IP address, your device establishes a TCP connection with the server. TCP ensures reliable communication between devices. Before communication starts, TCP performs something called the three-way handshake. The client sends SYN. The server replies with SYN-ACK, and the client responds with ACK. If the API uses HTTPS, a TLS handshake also occurs. TLS encryption ensures attackers cannot read sensitive information while data travels. Now, the actual request starts traveling through the network. It may pass through your Wi-Fi router, ISP network, multiple internet routers, firewalls, and load balancers before finally reaching the backend server. All of this usually happens in milliseconds. Now the server receives the request. The first thing the backend often checks is authentication. It verifies whether the user is allowed to access the resource. If authentication fails, the server returns 401 unauthorized. If authentication succeeds, the backend checks which API endpoint was requested. Different endpoints perform different operations. For example, /users may go to the user service, while /payments may go to the payment service. After routing the request, backend business logic starts executing. This is where actual processing happens. The server may validate passwords, calculate totals, or verify permissions. Very often, the backend also communicates with databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, or MongoDB. For example, the backend may run a query like select * from users where ID equals 10. The database returns the requested information to the backend server. The backend then prepares the response, usually in JSON format. Finally, the response travels back across the internet to your device, and your application displays the information on the screen. Along with data, servers also return status codes that describe what happened. 200 means success. 201 means a resource was created successfully. 400 means bad request, 401 is unauthorized, 403 is forbidden, and 404 means resource not found. And 500 means internal server error. Most modern applications today use something called REST APIs. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. REST AP is follow a standard structure where everything is treated as a resource. Examples include users, products, and orders. REST AP are stateless, meaning every request must contain all the required information. The server should not depend on previous requests. Now let's understand authentication more deeply, because APIs cannot simply trust everyone. One basic authentication mechanism is API keys. The server validates whether the key is valid before allowing access. But modern applications usually use JWT tokens. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. When you log in, the server generates a signed token and sends it back to your application. The app stores this token and includes it in future requests. Another popular authentication system is OAuth. Used in features like login with Google, it allows applications to access services securely without sharing passwords directly. Now imagine millions of users continuously sending requests. To prevent overload, AP is implement rate limiting. For example, a server may allow only 100 requests per minute. If exceeded, the server returns 429 too many requests. Large companies use API gateways. Instead of exposing services directly, requests first go to a gateway for authentication and routing. Modern companies use microservices architecture. Different services handle different responsibilities, like users, payments, and recommendations. For example, when you open Netflix, multiple APIs work simultaneously to fetch your profile, trending shows, and recommendations at once. Some APIs are synchronous, where the client waits for the response immediately. Others are asynchronous, where the request is accepted first and processing happens later. Asynchronous APIs are useful for heavy operations like video rendering, AI processing, or file conversion. Normal AP is follow request response communication. But applications like WhatsApp or multiplayer games need real-time communication. For this, technologies like WebSockets are used, where the connection remains continuously open. Another modern API technology is GraphQL. In REST APIs, servers sometimes send too much or too little data. GraphQL allows clients to request exactly the fields they need. Instead of downloading the entire user object, a client can request only the username and followers count. AP is also evolve over time. Companies introduce versioning to avoid breaking old applications. This allows older apps to continue functioning, while newer features are introduced separately. There are also public APIs and private APIs. Public APIs are exposed to developers outside the company, while private APIs are used internally inside organizations for communication between services. Now let's understand a real-world payment flow. Suppose you make a 500 rupees UPI payment. Your app sends a payment API request. The backend verifies your authentication. Bank servers communicate with NPCI APIs. Balance is checked, and transaction validation happens. Money is transferred. The response returns back saying payment successful. All this happens in just a few seconds because AP is automate communication between systems. Even cloud computing and modern AI applications depend heavily on APIs. Whether you are creating a virtual machine or sending a prompt to an AI model, you are actually triggering API calls behind the scenes. Without APIs, applications would not be able to communicate, services could not integrate, and the modern internet ecosystem would basically stop functioning. APIs are one of the most important technologies powering the digital world. Once you understand APIs properly, you begin understanding how the internet itself actually works internally. Thanks for watching this video. You can reach us through Instagram and Telegram for network interview guidance and mock interview scheduling. See you in the next video. Happy learning!